Hey there, welcome to your gentle yoga practice. Props that you'll need for today's class will be a blanket. Might not be a bad idea to have a pillow, and also you'll need a chair. And to begin, we're going to lie on our back. Start with your knees bent, bottoms of your feet to your mat. Take the feet out as wide as you need, as wide as feels good to you and your body. And then just take a moment to relax into the shape. If it feels good for you to let the knees come together with the feet wide, you can do so. It might take a bit of organizing your feet in a way that makes that feel good for the spine. If it feels better to keep the knees separated, keep the knees separated. And to begin, let's scan our body. Let's feel for the places of tightness, for the places of ease. Just take a moment or so there. And while you're scanning the body and feeling how it is you feel physically, bring attention to the quality of your breathing at this point. No need to change anything with the breath. Just notice. That's all we're doing. And with that attention and focus on the breath, begin to develop your inhalation and your exhalation so that they are of equal length. So not overworking, not too much effort there. Just see if you can create a nice evenness in the breath where the inhale and the exhale are balanced. And for today's practice, our focus is going to be a lot on our feet. And it's good to take care of our feet, but the reason we're doing this is not necessarily just for the feet themselves, but it's also for the health of our low back, as we know that the condition of our feet affects what happens with our knees and what happens all the way up into the hips, and with the hips then into the low back. And so we're going to work with the feet, the lower legs, as well as the knees and the hips, and see if we can't create a little bit of ease and spaciousness in the low back and even all along through the spine. So as we continue to move through our practice, just keep that nice coherent breath of equal inhalation and exhalation. And then from here, go ahead and bring one knee in at a time so that the knees are above the hips, and take your hands on top of the knees there. And we'll move into Apanasana. As you inhale, the arms go straight and the thighs move away from your belly. And then as you exhale, you draw the knees and the thighs into the belly. Okay, a few more rounds like that. Inhale, we expand the belly and the breath. As we exhale, we contract the belly as we let the breath go. Okay, a few more rounds like that, just on your own. We're going to first stimulate our respiratory organs, stimulating the low back, increasing circulation into the lower breathing space, into the abdominals, the abdominal organs, and the musculature that wraps around our entire center. A few more rounds just like that. And this is really nice for digestion as well. Good. And then adding on from here, you can continue like this if that felt good. Otherwise, we're really going to open up through the lungs. As you extend the legs up, the arms go overhead and you take an inhale. And then as you exhale, draw all of that back in. Inhale, we reach through the heels toward the ceiling, the arms reach overhead. Exhale. And we're just lengthening through the backs of our legs. It's okay if they don't go all the way straight. Just press through the heels and extend the legs up. Let's do a few more rounds like that. This is really nice to open up through the lungs. Again, just starting to create some stimulation in our respiratory organs. Let's do another one. Inhale and exhale. Now keep your right knee drawn in, but release the bottom of the left foot to the floor. And let's go ahead and start in with the feet. So begin to make some circles with the ankle. And reverse, move it in the opposite direction. And then see if you can create space between the toes and then scrunch the foot up into a tight like ball, like you're making a fist, and just work through that a couple of times. And this might feel a little bit awkward and weird, and when's the last time that you've thought about making a fist with your foot? But let's see if we can just wake up the bottom of the foot. Okay, and then we're simply going to reach and extend and then pull the knee in. So this is just working through the knee joint, just lubricating, getting the fluid to move, hydrating the joint. Should feel good. And you can also feel it in the hip joint too. You can feel that circulating, that warmth, that pumping action in the hip joint as well. And then just pull the leg in, give it a nice squeeze, and keep the knee drawing in, but relax your hands by your side. As you inhale, I want you to telescope the right leg straight forward. As you exhale, bring it up toward the ceiling. As you inhale, let it lower down toward the floor again. Exhale, draw it in. Okay, let's do that twice more. Inhale, telescope the leg forward. Exhale to the ceiling. Inhale, lower. Exhale, pull it in. One more here. Inhale, telescope forward. Exhale, bring it up to the ceiling. Lower it down as you inhale. Exhale, draw it in. And then go ahead and set the foot down next to the left. Take a moment there and maybe even close the eyes down if you're comfortable with that, and feel into the right hip, feel into the right knee, the right ankle, and just notice that clearing, that sensation, that hollowing out feeling in comparison to the left. The left feels a little heavier, or at least mine does. My left hip, my left knee, my left foot, it just feels a little bit heavier and bogged down. Okay, so let's wake that up, let's energize that and get the fluid moving. So bring the left knee into the chest and start by just taking the hands around the shin, give it a nice little squeeze, and begin to circle through the ankle. Just nice big round circles here. Take it in the opposite direction. Check in with your breath. Sometimes we get a little too focused on the movement and we forget. Sometimes we hold our breath even. And then scrunch the toes up, the arch, and then open the foot, giving space there, bringing space as much as you can. Okay, and then just extend through the leg, and then rebend and pull it in. A few times like that, working through left knee joint, left hip joint, lengthening the back of the leg. And all the while, the spine is resting, the chest is open, the shoulders are resting to the floor. Okay, and then let's go ahead one more here, and then draw the left knee in. Let's hold it there. Just give it a nice little squeeze. Keep the knee drawing in, but take the hands by your side. As you inhale, stretch the leg forward. The heel hovers above the floor. Exhale, draw your leg up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, pull in. Twice more. Inhale, telescope forward. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, in toward your ribs. Last time. Inhale, telescope the leg forward. Exhale, draw it up. Inhale, lower it back down. Exhale, pull it in. And then release the bottom of the foot down next to the right. Okay, and then again, continuing just to work into the lungs and the respiratory organs, as well as just warming our glutes, warming our legs. Hands will go by your side. As you inhale, I want you to lift the hips up and lift your arms up overhead, coming into bridge. And then as you exhale, lower the hips down and the hands down. Now what we want to try to do here is sync up our movement with the breath and sync up the movement of the hips and the hands. Okay, so inhale, we lift the hips up, the arms reach up and overhead. Exhale, we lower everything down, nice and easy and gentle. Okay, let's do that 3 more rounds. Inhale, take everything up. Exhale, bring it all back down with control. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale, strengthening as we lift up. Exhale, strengthening while we lower back down. Good, and then separate the feet a little bit wider out to the edges of your mat and real gently take the knees left and right. So with the feet wide, it gives us space to let the knees drop and a little bit of ease there to move the pelvis side to side. And just releasing any kind of congestion that might have accumulated in the low back space. All right, and then find a pause, bring the feet a little bit closer in. One knee in at a time, take them to the chest. And then nice and easy, we're gonna work into the hips and the spine. Lower the knees to the left, moving really slow, and just reach the arms out like a T. And maybe if it feels okay, turn your head halfway to the right. Now, if this feels like it's too much, then it's too much. Okay, and this is where, a pillow or blanket might come in handy, and you might need to prop it up underneath that bottom leg so it's less of a twist. Okay, outer hip stretch as well. So if that's too much on the hips, you can take the legs a little further away from your belly. That's going to lessen the intensity. Another thing you might do in addition to the pillow underneath that bottom leg is pillows or blankets between the legs, between the knees, okay, and then arms are out. Take a moment or so, just breathing into chest, feeling the openness there across from shoulder to shoulder. Okay, and you're taking your head in a placement that makes sense for you in your neck. Okay, if it feels better for you to look straight up, look straight up. There are times when certain positions will be maybe somewhat uncomfortable, or there might be discomfort or a stretch sensation, but never painful. And your breath is a really good indication if the level that you're at is reasonable and if it's appropriate for you. If the breath tightens, or if you even find yourself holding the breath, and probably an indication that you've maybe gone a little bit further than your capacity in the moment. And then unwind that, come all the way back, just release the props if you're using them. Before moving to the sides, just take a moment to come back so the shoulders are in line with the hips. And then again, one knee in at a time, pull them toward the chest, and nice and easy, take them over to the right as the arms reach out on opposite sides. And then you might even, I should have said on the other side, you might need something underneath the left shoulder, right? If the left shoulder is unable to be grounded and stable, use what you need to support yourself. So you have these props, your blankets, your pillows, use these props to support you so you feel supported, stable, and you can relax into the posture. And then from there, come all the way onto your back, okay? Just take a moment, just reassess. And then just roll to one side or the other, and we're gonna make our way up to all fours position, okay? So take your time with the transition. Come onto hands and knees. If you want a blanket under the knees, take a blanket under your knees, okay? Support yourself there. And we'll take just a few cat-cow breaths, just a few rounds of cat-cow to continue hydrating through the spine, the musculature along the spine. Okay, and then this is a really nice time to sync up the movement with the breath, very similar to when we were doing the bridge lifts. So from here, go ahead and inhale your breath, lift the tailbone toward the ceiling, lower the belly down, stretch your chest, lift your chin, look forward. As you exhale, lower the tailbone to the floor, pull the navel, your belly button, up toward the spine, round and dome the upper back as you take the chin closer to the chest. Few more rounds just like that. As you inhale, find cow pose, tailbone up, belly down, chest up, chin up. Exhale, reverse that action, tailbone down, belly draws up, chin rolls to the chest. Again, inhale, drop the belly. Feel the shoulder blades come together around the spine. Stretch the ears away from the shoulders so the neck's long. And then as you exhale, feel the shoulder blades separate and really broaden and widen on the upper back. Okay, last one. Inhale, cow pose, and exhale, coming into cat. Okay, come back to a neutral spine. And then from here, we're gonna make our way on up to stand. Okay, so if you're close to your chair, it might be easier for you to just place your hand on the chair. Okay, and then one step up at a time there. So I'm gonna be doing a fair amount of moving around with my chair just so that you guys can have a good visual of where I'm at. But for you, have your chair close by you so that you can use it for support. You may choose not to use it at certain times, but just having it. And then you're definitely going to need your blanket because we're gonna start right away with the blanket. And what we're gonna do is I want you to fold the blanket up so that it's fairly thick. I don't know, what is that, like 3 or 4 inches thick. You could even possibly use a pillow just depending on the consistency of the pillow, or the texture of the pillow, I should say. And I'm gonna be in a profile view so that you can see. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start back with the feet and the lower legs. I'm going to step onto my blanket. So this is going to create an unsteady surface so that we can build the resiliency on the bottoms of the feet. And so, the bottom of the feet are really important because when we step and when we stand, they're absorbing the shock and they're transferring that up into the legs. And we need them to be very resilient. We want them to be springy. We want that springiness in the bottoms of the feet rather than like dumping and pressing and being real firm. So from here, your hands will be on the surface and stand nice and tall, and the heels will be just off of the blanket. And already you might be feeling a nice little stretch of the lower leg and the calf. Lengthen the tailbone down and just keep the shoulder blades really broad. And then as you inhale, you're going to lift the heels and come onto the balls of the feet. And as you exhale, you'll let the heels settle down and release. Let's do a few more like that. So just inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. This is really good to stimulate the reversal, good for the lymphatic system, getting the calf muscles to work. Really good to create circulation into the feet. If you suffer with, cold feet, this can help create some warmth there. Let's do 3 more. Inhale up, exhale, lower. So we're not in a rush. Inhale up, exhale, lower. Let's do 1 more. Inhale and exhale. And then stay on the blanket, but maybe walk just a little bit further on so the heels aren't all the way off. And then from here, you're gonna keep your hands on your surface. Take an inhale, straight legs. And then as you exhale, you're gonna come into a baby squat. You're gonna bend the knees and bend down. Okay, and then you're gonna inhale, straighten the legs. And you might need to separate the feet a little bit more. Like if it's hard for you to come down, so you might play with taking the feet a little wider. If you're not feeling much stretch sensation, take the heels a little further off the blanket. Okay, again, just inhale, lengthen tailbone down, nice and tall, straightening through the legs. Exhale, you're gonna take that baby squat. It can be pretty intense stretch for the lower calves and the Achilles tendon there. Exhale, baby squat. Send your butt back, belly draws in. Inhale. Exhale. So really good for ankles, feet, knees. Inhale. And we're creating that hinge at the hips and the spine is extended. So we're not rounding or collapsing in the chest. Let's do 2 more just like this. Should feel a lot of warmth in those lower legs. Yeah, exhale. Inhale. And then go ahead and just step off of your blanket. Keep the fold, and I'm gonna keep my chair, I'm gonna bring my chair right up next to my blanket roll. And then from here, we're gonna step our right foot onto the blanket. So again, we're still working with that unsteady surface, and we're gonna get into a strengthening piece. So this is gonna be really good to strengthen the entire musculature of the leg, starting at the bottom of the foot all the way up into the hip. So you're gonna stand on the blanket with the right foot. You're gonna be pretty close to that support. The left leg is just gonna be hanging off, right? So if the left leg is down on the floor, you probably need something a little bit higher. And we wanna let that hip hang, we wanna let that leg hang, okay? And then just nice and easy, begin to swing the leg a little bit. So this is a little less yoga, but hang in there. We're gonna really create a lot of warmth and just get all these muscles on the right side of our leg online. Now you're gonna find that the more swing you bring to this left leg, the more work it is for the right hip, the right glute, the right ankle, the bottom of the foot. So you should by now be feeling some warmth and some energy and some strengthening happening there in that right leg. We're on an unsteady surface, right? In the bottom of the foot, you can just feel it calculating and figuring out what it needs to do to stay steady and strong. And that's a good thing, we're training. Slowly start to bring that leg just to still. Let it just hang. So let the foot get nice and heavy. And then this is kind of interesting, but think about making circles with the bottom of the foot. Okay, so we're just gonna roll around on the bottom of the foot. So you're feeling the pressure on the big toe mound side, then shifting over to the pinky edge side, and then back to the heel on all sides, and then just kind of circling around. Really feeling it now. If you need a break, take a break. Let's just reverse that circle. And just try to stay lifted. Try not to sink, like sinking down into that hip, but stay lifted and upright. Okay, one more. And then step the left foot off. Step the right foot off. Keep your hand on your surface and then maybe close down the eyes if you're comfortable with that. Close down the eyes and I want you to feel into the right side. Feel the right foot, feel the ankle, calf, feel the musculature all up along into your knee and then from your knee up into your hip. And you can just feel that that right leg is really cleaned out, it's really warm, and you feel like it's online, right? We've awakened the leg. And then go ahead and just open up the eyes. And we'll work through some of that congestion and buildup that you might be feeling on the left side. So we'll even it up. I'm gonna move my chair just around the other side so that you guys can see. But for you, I mean, whatever works, if you just turn yourself around, keep it easy, okay? So just immediately step the left foot now onto the blanket, and you might find a different side to side, okay? Maybe this is your stronger side, maybe it's your weaker side. Just notice, right? No judgment, no attachment to that. We're just noticing. It's really hard to create change without awareness. So just having awareness around side to side and just begin to swing that leg a little bit, just a little bit. It doesn't take much. It's just that little bit of instability and movement that makes the left side have to, ground down, connect, and it's connecting to an unsteady surface. So that makes it more challenging, but also more effective in training, right? Training the bottom of the foot and that resiliency. And you might feel the ankle, moving around, and that's your musculature finding balance, finding strength, calibrating to hold you steady. Slowly start to reduce the swing of this leg, bringing it eventually to stillness and just taking a moment there to let it hang. Staying lifted in the chest so the sternum is lifted. And then take those circles on the left foot. So again, we're just coming to that idea of we're like tracing circles on the bottom of the foot, finding big toe, heel, all the way around to the outer edge of the foot up to the pinky toe. And then just reverse that rotation. Staying lifted, that surface is there for you to help stay steady. Working a lot of strength into the leg, the left leg. Good. And then just pause. Step off of the blanket. Hands remain on the surface there. And then again, if you are okay to close the eyes and really take your attention, your focus inward and notice what you feel side to side. It should feel more balanced, more even, and both very energized. And, we have turned both of those legs on. Okay, open up the eyes. And then to continue, I'm gonna move my chair again back to a profile position. We don't need the blanket as of now, so you can go ahead and just set that blanket anywhere out of the way. And then I'm gonna take my hands on top of my chair and walk my feet back and then bring myself down so that my torso is parallel to the floor. And if the backs of your legs are tight, you can bend the knees as much as you'd like. What I want you to find is axial extension. I want you to find some length in the spine. Feel the ribs reaching away from the pelvis. Even feel the stretch along the armpits, the outer walls of the chest, the arms. Take a few moments just to breathe there. Now, depending on the height of your chair, I have this ladder back chair, so I could walk my hands down to any level, but you might like it more on the seat of the chair. Okay, a little more similar to like a downward facing dog variation. So just know that, there's definitely room to play with the positioning. And the whole idea is just to get to a place that's pretty comfortable to create some length along the back of the body. Okay, and then wherever you are, just take your time, walk your feet closer up toward the back of the chair. Okay, we're gonna come all the way up. And you'll stay facing the chair. I'm going to turn mine though so that you can see. Separate your feet out pretty wide. Okay, so the legs are gonna separate out pretty wide. The right toes are gonna turn to 12 o'clock, like 12 o'clock on a dial. And then the left toes, you might wanna turn them in a little bit too, coming into a warrior two. Bend into that right knee, okay? And then your chest and your belly are going to stay facing the chair. So bending into that right knee, and then if you're comfortable with it, take that left arm out, take the palm up, and if the shoulder, if this bothers the shoulder, bend the elbow, or you can lengthen out the elbow a little bit. Okay, as we inhale, I want you to straighten the right leg and take that left arm up overhead. You can even look up if that feels good. Exhale, bend the knee, lower the hand down. Inhale, extend. This time as you exhale, look over the right shoulder, lower the left arm down. Inhale, look up. Exhale, look left. Inhale. Stay facing forward with the gaze. Exhale, right knee bends, left arm out. Good, just stay with that. 3 breaths. Last 2. Last 1, inhale. And exhale. Good, lower the left hand down. Straighten the right leg, turn the toes so that they're parallel. And then left toes are going to turn out, 12 o'clock. Bend the left knee, turn the right toes in a little bit so that it works for that back hip. Hands to the surface, chest and belly face this chair. Okay, and then this time the right arm's going to reach out, palm faces up, bend the elbow a little bit there. Inhale, straighten the left leg, reach the arm up overhead. Exhale, lower the arm, bend the left knee. Good, let's do that a few more times. Getting the neck rotation. Inhale, exhale, look over the right shoulder. Inhale, extend, lengthen up. Exhale, look over left shoulder. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, straight forward with the gaze and hold this one for 3 breaths. Feeling the strength of the legs. Let the breath be easy, let it be light, slow and steady. Last 2. Feeling the connection of your feet, your legs, ease in the low back. Last 1. And release. Step the left foot so that it's in line with the right foot. And then bring the feet a little bit closer in, okay? And then last one here, I'm going to bring my chair, actually I'm going to turn it, okay? And you're going to step your right foot, 12 o'clock again, left foot back. Same thing, but this time keep the leg straight, right hand to the surface. And again, I'm going to work my hand down to where it feels like, ooh, that's where I want to be. That feels really good. Press the hand down. The hips are going to pull back a little bit, straighten through the right leg. And then from here, just take that left arm, reach it away from the shoulder. So we're opening the chest, really active through the feet. Okay, this might feel nice right here. Stay here and just breathe. If it's too much with the shoulder to reach the arm, you can always just take it to the hip, rest it by your side, and just focus on the legs and your core center. Now keep all of this, but just bend into the right knee. Just bend into the right knee. Now as you bend in the right knee, you might find that it feels better to take the right hand a little bit lower, okay, down onto maybe the seat of the chair. Totally just depends on what you're working with. And then I want you to stretch the left arm overhead. But if that's too much, a couple of options. You can just take the fingertips to the shoulder, right? Or maybe take the hand to the back of the head. Or again, you're just reaching and stretching. One more here. Take the left hand to the left hip. Bring yourself all the way back up. Slowly straighten the leg and then come forward. I'm going to just turn my chair so that I can continue facing you. Okay, but for you, just work it so that now the left foot is forward and you're facing the chair. Okay, turn those right toes in slightly, whatever feels good on that back hip. And to start, we'll keep the left leg straight-ish. Okay, and then hand to the surface of the chair, the back of the chair, Roll the chest open just a little bit and then just reach that right arm up and away. You can bend into this bottom elbow, the left elbow, and lean the ribs a little further away from that top hip if that feels good. So triangle pose. Lean the head back a little bit. We have a tendency to let the head kind of fall forward. See if you can lean the back of the head back just a little bit to where it feels a little easier on the neck. And now just simply bend into that left knee. If you need to readjust where that hand goes, that bottom hand, readjust it. Right arm is going to reach forward, and as you take that right arm overhead, you're really going to feel that lengthening happening in the ribs, the waistline, and the hip. Again, your options would be maybe just to take fingertips to shoulder, head into the back of the hand. And really press this bottom hand, this left hand, down into the surface, right? Just really press and resist it and reach, reach, reach. One more here. Good, and then release out of it. Right hand to the hip. Slowly straighten the left leg as you come all the way up. Turn the left toes to face and then bring the feet back together. Okay, one more to balance, okay? Feet, legs, as promised. So right hip to the surface of the chair. Starting with the right foot down, pick the left knee up. Take an inhale here, tailbone lengthens, chest open. As you exhale any amount, take that knee out toward the left. You're gonna feel that right hip turn on, right abdominals. Bring it back to center. Inhale here, exhale. Inhale back and step it down, okay? And then come right into tree, Trikonasana. Hand can stay at your surface. If you want to challenge your balance, maybe just see what it feels like to float that hand off, maybe hands to hips. Fold the palms at your heart. Those are all options. If you really want to make it hard, arms overhead, right? Or maybe just one. Step all the way down, release out of it, left foot to the floor. Okay, right into the other side. Left foot stays down, pick the right knee up. Inhale here, nice and lifted, tall posture. Exhale, right leg moves out to the right, any amount. Inhale back to center. Exhale. Good, inhale. Exhale, release. And then right into tree pose, Vrikshasana. So feeling all of that work that we did earlier to build that awareness in the foot, right? The strength of the leg, feel all of that coming together for you, making this a little easier, right? And then maybe hands to heart or hands to hips or maybe just one hand, always knowing that that surface is there for you. Extend up. So many options, just be with it and breathe. Nice, and then just release out of it, right foot down. Okay, give the legs a little shake. That was really good. I'm gonna move my chair. Getting it out of the way. Bring your blanket with you. Bring your blanket with you. And then just taking your time, we're gonna come back down onto all fours. Have the blanket up toward the top edge of your mat. And then again, just for good measure, let's come into all fours and let's move through a couple rounds of cat-cow again. See if you can notice a difference. With your inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the belly, stretch the chest. With the exhale, drop the tailbone, lift the belly, chin comes closer to the chest. One more, inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Back to neutral spine. And then we're going to come down onto our stomach and we're going to work on some breathing. So the blanket, you're going to fold the forearms and the blanket is going to just go underneath the forearms. Now the legs, you're going to bring the legs so that they're relaxed, so the feet are turned out and the inner thighs are resting to the floor. Okay, so the feet are turned out, the feet are relaxed, forearms are down. And you'll notice that my ribs mostly are away from the mat. They're off of the mat. So the lungs are up, the ribs are lifted. The bottom rib, may or may not be there to the floor. And then forearms are bent. And then go ahead and rest your forehead to your arms. So If you find that your chest or your lungs are to the floor, you might bring the blanket and the arms closer in toward your chest, toward your belly. Okay, so just find that place where you want to be that you can relax. Forehead down. And we're going to focus on diaphragmatic breath, so belly breathing. And we're going to try to work toward a 1-2 ratio, meaning the exhalation will be double of the inhalation. Okay, so let's start with just maybe inhaling in for 3. So inhale your breath, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just try that. But if it feels like you're having to work or effort into that too much, then stick with the coherent breath. Okay, just equal inhalation and exhalation. And truly, any amount that you can lengthen the exhale in addition to the inhale will help you get into a more calm, relaxed state. So as you inhale your breath, you will feel your belly reaching, touching the floor, that expansion. And as you exhale, you will feel the belly draw away and releasing some from the floor. So this is a nice position of the body to take to really feel and bring awareness around that diaphragmatic breath. So breathing down into the lower breathing space. Notice where you are with the counting of your breath. Just feel into it. Maybe you are able to work toward that 1-2 ratio. Or maybe you're with coherent breath. One thing you might find is that after spending a few rounds of breath here in this position, moving the breath in and out as you are, that you might gain a bit of breathing capacity. So staying aware, is the inhalation getting a little bit longer? And if it is, let's match that with the exhalation or even stretch out the exhalation a little bit more. Again, the legs are really relaxed. So ending our practice now by tuning in to the subtle sensation, the shifts. Resetting our nervous system. Bringing all of our physiological structures and systems into balance, into a place of more ease. Take a few more rounds here. Give yourself this time to slow down, to be completely present and aware. And feeling the power of our breath being the bridge and the connection between our body and our mind. And if this is feeling good and you want to remain here, I definitely invite you to stay. Otherwise, to simplify things, just flip on over onto your back and find a comfortable position, okay, for Shavasana. So lie on down, legs can be straight. You can have a blanket behind the knees if that bothers the low back at all. Or knees can be bent, bottoms of your feet to your mat. So I would recommend, taking 3, 4, 5 longer if you have it, minutes, to stay in Shavasana and just let that integration happen. Let all of the breath work, all of the postures that we took today to integrate, to absorb, and to settle. Okay, just allow yourself that time of stillness. Okay, and then I'm going to sign off here so you can just ignore me, turn me off. Otherwise, I thank you so much for practicing, for taking care of yourself. Take it with you. Be well.